Hey, you guys, it is Wednesday. And Wednesdays equal tea time. Are you guys ready? Are you ready to continue our discussion on if you are what you eat? All right, come on, you guys, let's get it. It's tea time, it's tea time. It's tea time, it's tea time. Tia Williams. Hey, I am so excited, you guys, about today's Tea Time with Tia topic. Come on, today we're going to talk about if you are what you eat, then what are you eating? So this is our last series of if you are what you eat. And 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, we first talked about if you are what you eat, then whose hands are you eating off of? And then the week after that, well, last week we talked about who is feeding you. If you are what you eat, then who is feeding you? But today we're going to talk about if you are what you eat, then what are you eating? We want to dig into, come on, look at some of our selections, our dietary decisions that we are making on a daily basis. We're going to get into it. I want to remind you guys about the book that I'm going to be an author, you guys. I'm going to finally write the book. It's entitled The Dating Game. Is it helping or hurting you? It is a manual that will empower women to think intellectually about dating as opposed to emotionally. So, I feel like one of my assignments in the body of Christ is to teach us how to think critically about things that we believe in or things that we believe, right? We need to start thinking critically about dating. We need to start thinking critically about what we're eating. We need to start thinking critically about these systems that we're participating in. So I want us, and this guys, don't be upset. It is for the ladies, but I promise you, I need your help. I need your feedback. I need your input. And so because I need you guys, I'm going to do a focus group inviting both males and females with dating experience, no age limit. I just want your experience, but you have to be transparent. You have to be free enough to spill your tea in this focus group. So I want to get your feedback or your input in your experiences in dating. It's going to be fun. The information is going to come soon. I've already partnered with Avant Studio. Uh, Tanya, Tanya Reese, yeah, she was on here last week. And so the news will be coming out soon. So, grab a group of your girls and a group of your guy friends and come on, let's have us a discussion about dating. It's going to be fun. It's going to be exciting. And I am excited about it. I do, however, have something that I want to do for the guys, but I'm keeping this under wrap just for a little while longer until I do a little more research. I introduced it to my team on Christmas Eve, and they were really receptive of the information that I was sharing with them, and they were also giving me their feedback. And I think that it's well needed. So guys, just stay tuned. I got something for you guys, and I'm going to need your input as well. How much of a recap do I want to do? Make sure you guys hit the share button. Make sure that you go back and watch the replay of Tea Time with Tia Williams. It is going to bless you. Hey, Melva, thank you for tuning in. I think I want to do just a brief recap, not too extensive like I did last week. If this is your first time tuning in, you must go back and watch last week's video on if you are what you eat, then who is feeding you. It was an awesome discussion. I'm telling you, you've never heard any teaching like this. So we have been discussing if you are what you eat and what that means. We, went back and got the origin of the saying. This French guy has stated that if you tell him what you eat, then he can tell you what you are. And so, yes, your identity is connected to what you eat. Your identity is connected. And I'm quite sure you guys, we've heard the saying, you are what you eat. But I don't know if we really grasp the understanding of what that really means. And so here on Tea Time with Tia, we break those things down for you. I told you I am someone who likes somebody to break things down or explain things to me as if I'm a 2-year-old. So here on Tea Time, I pride myself on making my teachings very simplistic that anybody can understand it. That you will have to dag on there, pay somebody for you to not understand what I'm talking about. And so your identity, I pointed out several examples in the Bible where your identity is connected with your diet, with what you eat. So we even started in Genesis and the creation, Genesis 1, verse 27 and 29, or verse 27 through 29. So God created human beings, making them to be like himself. This is our identity. He created them male and female. Okay. And then verse 29, he goes to share with us what he provided for us to eat. I have provided all kinds of grain and all kinds of fruit for you to eat. But for all the wild animals and for all the birds, I have provided grass and leafy plants for food, and it was done. So here we have our identity. We were created in God's image and in his likeness. And then in verse 29, he shares with us what our diet should consist of. And then we went down further. It's in one of these notes. Let's see. Then we went to Genesis 2 into the Garden of Eden. And there we have the first temptation. And we have God given Adam his dietary restrictions as well. In verse 15, then the Lord God placed man in the Garden of Eden to cultivate it and guard it. He said to him, you may eat the fruits of any tree in the garden except the tree that gives knowledge of what is good and what is bad. You must not eat the fruit of that tree. If you do, you will die the same day. And then God created Eve. He said that it's not good for man to live alone. And then we have the serpent that comes into the picture in Genesis 3. That sneaky serpent, man. And this is where we point out how identity and food has a correlation as well. Now the snake was the most cunning animal that the Lord God had made. The snake asked the woman, did God really tell you not to eat fruit from any tree in the garden? We may eat the fruit of any tree in the garden. The woman answered, except the tree in the middle of it. God told us not to eat the fruit of that tree or even touch it. If we do, we will die. The snake replied, that's not true. You will not die. God said that because he knows that when you eat it, you will be like God and know what is good and what is bad. So you hear now the enemy is trying to con Eve out of her identity, because God already told us in verse 27 that we were created in his image and in his likeness. Now here you have the snake that's coming and telling her this is not true. So this is where we made our point. Whose hands you going to eat off of? Are you going to eat from the hand of God, or are you going to eat from the snake, from the outside world? Are you going to get your dietary instructions from the word, or are you going to get it from the world? Because as you know, the Food and Drug Administration, the US FDA, they make up all kinds of diets that we are supposed to follow, and then they change over time. I mean, they still have dairy up there, and there's so many studies that point out that dairy is not good for us. I mean, cow's milk. So I'm just saying, you guys, there's a lot of false information out there, but it's like, whose hand are you going to eat from? Okay, so then the Eve allowed Satan to deceive her. She allowed the snake to deceive her. The woman saw how beautiful the tree was and how good its fruit would be to eat. And she thought. That was her first mistake. She thought. She did not need to think when God has already given them their instructions. That is, mistake number one. There was a whole lot of mistakes. She was having a discussion with a snake that she shouldn't even been having a discussion with. She wasn't even clear on the instructions that God gave, because she added something to us that we shouldn't touch it. Then she saw how beautiful the tree was. So, I mean, that reminded me of the word God gave me when he told me I need to master my senses, right? Because we can look at things. Look, I got some things like, how delicious does this look? You know, I'm like Eve. It looked, well, I didn't buy this. My husband bought this, but the woman saw how beautiful. You know, you look at the color, you say, oh, this looks so refreshing. You look at the what do you call this? The advertisement on it. It's cranberry ginger ale. You know, they got this out for the holiday season. You think, oh, this is going to taste so good. But I mean, it's empty calories. It has no protein in it. You know, our bodies need protein. Total carbohydrates 37, total sugar 36 grams of sugar. I mean, but it does not benefit our bodies, right? Because we are what we eat. But you can, if you don't master your senses and you allow your eyes to make decisions for you as far as what you should eat, or you can, smell something and say, "Oh, that so sure smell good," but you know you ain't got no business eating bacon, right? So Eve saw how beautiful the tree was and how good its fruit would be to eat, and she thought, "Come on, we got to take control of our thoughts." We got to monitor our thoughts, how wonderful it would be to become wise. So she took some of the fruit and ate it. Then she gave some to her husband. Remember that, you guys? And he also ate it. He didn't question her. He didn't say, where this come from? He knew he never ate that kind of fruit before. If you are in the garden and you know that this tree is producing a certain kind of fruit, I'm quite sure the fruit that Eve gave him was not the normal fruit that they were used to eating. He should have questioned her. Hey, where this come from? What is that? Hold on. He didn't question it. He just ate it. And as soon as they had eaten it, they were given understanding and realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and covered themselves. And then they started playing the blame game. And, Adam blamed Eve and Eve blamed the serpent. And, we all been messed up ever since then. Okay, so that was the temptation where Eve and Adam were already created in God's image and in his likeness. And so the devil is now trying to talk her out of her identity by, giving her food. So our identity and what we eat are connected with one another. So again, verse 5, when you eat it, you will be like God. That was your identity and food coming together. Genesis 19, after the flood, now God tells us that we can now add meat to our diet. All the animals, birds, and fish will live in fear of you. They are all placed under your power. Verse 3, as well as green plants, I give them all to you for food. The one thing you must not eat is meat with blood still in it. So That was one of our dietary restrictions that we talked about. And then I told you guys to go look up Leviticus and Leviticus chapter 1 and see all of the dietary restrictions God put on as far as meat was concerned. And then again, you guys, we talked about Daniel and how he only ate vegetables. He didn't choose to eat from the king's table. That was really good. And I'm trying to fast forward a little bit. Oh, you guys remember the story I shared with you guys about the eagle? I have been feasting off of that story all week. How many of you guys have been feasting off of the story of the eagle? I mean, every time I think about eating something that I have no business eating, I said, Tia, you are an eagle. You can't be eating that chicken food. That's bottom feeding food. You can't eat off the ground like that. I mean, I thought that was so powerful. And if you haven't, watched last week's video, I'll share with you the story about the eagle. I was telling everybody that our life is compared to the life of an eagle. An eagle's strength is in his diet. The eagle will not eat anything that's dead unless he's in captivity. Other birds like the buzzard, vulture, crow, they feed off of dead things. They'll eat anything, but not the eagle. He doesn't take the easy way out. Come on, he don't just drive to McDonald's and get him a number 7. Yes, make sure you research it, Melva. He doesn't take the easy way out. He don't go to Chipotle and get him a bowl. He doesn't. He flies over the streams and then he look for fish and he'll swoop down and get himself a fresh salmon dinner, right? And so the Bible tells us that we should mount up with wings as eagles. And just like the eagle, we want our strength to be in our diet. Come on, I told you guys that we're going to change our diets last week. So every time, I thought about, what I will consume, what I will put into my body, because now I have an understanding that I am what I eat, that my identity, come on, that I am what I eat. This is junk food. This is low grade fuel. We don't want to put this in our body. We want to put this in our bodies. I mean, come on, think about it. The body is what percentage of water? Like what, 80% of water? Good morning, Auntie. Thank you for tuning in. I mean, so this lesson, I really hope and pray that it will cause us to be more selective about what we consume, what we eat, what we ingest. Come on, what we digest, what we, function off of. If you think about you are what you eat in our food selections or anything that uses our physical senses, even what we watch, even what we listen to, we become those things that we consume. So I want us to start a diary. Let's do a dietary diary. Let's start monitoring what we're eating, not just physical food, because remember when we talked about Jesus and how he fasted for 40 days and 40 nights and then Satan came to tempt him. Remember, Jesus said, turn those stones into bread. And Jesus reminded Satan that it is written that man should not live off of bread alone, but off of every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. And so we want to be just like Jesus because he's our example setter, right? We understand that physical food is not the only thing that we need, right? We know that we got to also have spiritual food. We got to feed, because man is a tripart being, right? We're a spirit that live in a body that has a soul. So we have to nurture all of those parts. We are feeding all of that. What do you think we do when we're reading books, right? Or we're reading the Bible, or we're learning a new skill or a new trade, right? We have to learn how to feed. We got to be selective in what we watch on TV. We got to be selected in who we hang around. You guys know how powerful and influential our friend groups are, right? You've heard the saying that if you show me who your friends are, I'll tell you who you are. Or I can show you where you'll end up being. Guilt by association, right? So I want today's tea time for us to just, take a minute, right? Let's write down the things that we're allowing to enter into our bodies, right? We're supposed to present our bodies as a holy temple unto God, a living sacrifice unto God. So we talked about how Jesus was tempted by Satan to turn the rocks, the stones into bread. And, he reminded him that we're not to live off of bread alone, right? So food is not our only source. So today, really, we have been through the whole gamut. And I love the part about the eagle where that even if the eagle, it told us that the eagle could survive off of eating the same food that the buzzards and the crows and the vultures eat of, but then he wouldn't be an eagle anymore. I thought that was so powerful. He doesn't eat dead food. And that reminded me of the word that God gave me. He told me to eat what I am. That if I'm a living being, then I should be eating living food. Eat what you are. Train your tongue to eat only to live. You can't live to eat. How many of you are living to eat? How many of you are picking things that taste good? I mean, I thought this was so funny. So my family, right? Oh, okay. Let me not cut off my train of thought. So, like I was saying about the eagle, he can survive off of the food, that the crows and the vultures and the buzzards eat, but he would no longer be an eagle. So that just shows us that what we eat is connected to our identity. That the eagle would probably no longer be able to fly as high as he's able to fly because his food is his strength. But it's the same for us. Our diet is our strength. I mean, think about it. We are not operating in the full capacity that God created us to operate in because we're eating all the wrong food, because there's no nutritional value in probably 80% of the things that we eat. If you really go and write down everything that you consume, we should become more selective in what we choose to eat, because it makes up who we are. We're eagles, but because we're eating the diet of a buzzard, we're operating at a lower level. We're not able to think as clearly, as fastly. Our memories has dwindled. I know mine have, because we're not eating living food. Come on. I mean, what is that scripture that this one? John 6:35. Then Jesus declared, I am the bread of life. Whoever comes to me will never go hungry, and whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. Come on, he says that he is living water. I just think about a fountain that's shooting up living water, but we choose to drink this instead of this. We choose to consume this instead of this. This is who we are. We're made up of water. Why would we choose this over this? And you know how many times you've heard people say, I don't drink water. Water is nasty. I mean, people actually say that. Okay. So then I go back to the word that God gave me. Eat what you are. What are you? If you are a living being, then why are we eating dead food? Why is dead food a part of our diet? Train your tongue to eat only to live. We shouldn't be eating for taste. I mean, think about how we're made, right? We have organs, organisms, we have brain cells, we have skin cells, we have hair follicles. All of these things are alive. All of these things need nutrients. All of these things need to be nourished in order to grow. I mean, like different cells and organisms, because we have new ones that replace them like every month. What did I read? Which one? Different cells were placed every week. You got different scales, different cells that are replaced. Like if we are conscious of how we were created and what we're made up of, we will make better choices. Come on, you shouldn't wake up in the morning tired. Come on, instead of asking people, how are you? You know what we can ask them? What did you eat? We don't even need to ask, how are you? That can replace that because we should be able to tell how you are based on what you ate. Oh, girl, I just ran and got me some Chick-fil-A real quick. Oh, girl, I've been eating out every week. I ain't had time to cook. I mean, that tells us that, hey, they must be stressed out. They must have a heavy workload. You know, we should be able to pinpoint where a person is in life based on their diet. Oh, girl, I'm just about to go in here and grab a candy bar and a soda. That'll be my lunch. I know. I know y'all seen those people at work eat that stuff. That their lunch is a candy bar and a Pepsi, a Snicker and a Pepsi, a Reese cup and a Coke. And you tell me how that person act. What what was their behavior like? I mean, you see those babies, you be like, oh no, he must have had some sugar. You see that baby running around, throwing toys, jumping over beds, jumping over the couches because of what they consume, because of what they ingested. Good morning, Brian. Thank you for tuning in. Come on. If we know now, if we have been taught, I mean, this is our third week teaching on this, that we are what we eat. Now, what are you eating? What are you eating? Are you eating the food that is going to promote you, that is going to assist you in being who God called you to be? Oh, good afternoon now. Yes, solid. Look, so I got some green squash noodles. I'm going to make this today. I have a recipe that I've been waiting to try. Come on. I got me some asparagus and mushrooms that I'm going to put a little stir fry together. I mean, I just wanted to show you a couple of things. Here's another little stir fry. This have carrots, broccoli, Brussels sprouts, bok choy, green cabbage, pea pods, kale with ginger garlic sauce. This is going to be my lunch, along with drinking 4 bottles of these. Typically, I'll write on each bottle like 8, because I'm supposed to drink 1 bottle from 8 to 10. And then the next bottle of water I have to drink that from 11 to 1. And then my third bottle of water, I have to drink between 2 and 4. And then my last bottle of water, I drink between 5 and 7. So I need to be finished drinking all 4 bottles of water by 7 p.m. I set up, I have a, let me see if this phone, I have my alarm set. I ain't capping. No cap. Oh, I think it's on my other phone. I set my alarms. Yeah, for my water. I also set alarms for my feeding. But so every morning I'll take my 4 bottles of water out. Yeah, this is a 1 liter bottle, Brian. I'll take my 4 bottles out and I'll label them. One is 8, one is 11, one is 2, one is 5. And so when I'm falling behind, I'm like, girl, you are falling behind. You better get that water in. 8, 11, 2, and 5. So that's a little tidbit. But I really want us to start writing down what we're eating. And then think about it, you guys. I shared with you last week, today more than ever, right? We have the opportunity to feed on the wrong things. Like, when we were growing up, we had channel 4, 5, 7, and 9, and 20 probably was the most recent ad. But now we have over 500 channels. We have cable TV. I mean, the radio stations, we had 93, 95, 102.3, but now we have XM radio, satellite radio. You got thousands of channels you can choose from the radio. We got our smartphones. Come on, we got magazines. We got reality TV shows. I mean, all sorts of garbage that is on television, or all of these choices, but we have to be selective. We have to feed ourselves. Even what we watch on television, it is feeding us. It is causing us to change in our character. You have all types of programs with, that shows homosexuality. It shows uh sex outside of marriage. It shows people cheating. It shows killing. It shows, I mean, one time my husband and I, right before we were going to bed, we were in the bed together watching TV, and we'll turn on Netflix or something and try to find something that we want to watch. And I picked some, I can't even remember the name of the show. I mean, but it was a good show. It had all the killing, all the grueling, all of that stuff, right? But I couldn't sleep. I was wired. And I was like, oh no, I should have never watched that show because I couldn't fall asleep. My husband was snoring in the bed, but I couldn't sleep. It affected me, what I watched, what I used my senses for. I took it in, I ingested, I consumed it. I couldn't get it out of my mind. I mean, it was a action-packed movie. But I'm telling you guys, we have to watch what we're eating. And it's not only food, but food is very important because it's connected to our identity. You are what you eat. You eat a bunch of junk food. I mean, come on, that's the way you're going to perform. Instead of asking somebody, how are you doing? We're going to ask you, what have you been eating? What are you eating? What are you eating? We should be able to tell who you are. Oh, I was telling you guys about, I was starting to tell you about how my family, we all came together and went bowling the day before Christmas Eve. And so part of our bowling package, right, we had to select 2 food items. Now it's about 20 plus of us that are going. And so all 20 people, have to now pick 2 items that everybody could eat. And so you have some family members who don't eat, pork. You have some family members who don't eat meat. You have some family members that eat meat and eat everything else. And so, when they were asking, of course I'm trying to be diplomatic, to get something that will benefit everybody. So I think I say something like maybe a cheese pizza, and I said veggie spring rolls. So I'm trying to find a middle ground. And then you have other family members, they a couple, more than a couple of them, they said they wanted pepperoni pizza and they wanted the chicken tenders. And I'm saying to myself, man, good Lord, now I know that these same family members eat pizza and chicken tenders on a regular, you know. I mean, and it was like they wasn't trying to budge, you know, they want the pepperoni pizza and the chicken tenders. And then, you know, I have another sister. I have a sister who is a vegan, so she doesn't eat meat, and so she got to kind of fight in the comments to get her food options on there. I mean, it's just funny. So then, even when you get there, I mean, come on, you can tell the food gonna tell on you. It's gonna tell you all what you eat. You gonna see who were the ones that made the choice for the pepper. They gonna get me. I hope my family ain't watching this video. Oh my God. But you know, the more fluffier family members, they was going for the pepperoni pizza and the nug and the chicken tenders. And then you have my sister who is like, she's probably one of the smallest ones, but she was trying to get the spring rolls or the cheese pizza. I was just trying to, you know, be the middleman and get a compromise. Hey, maybe we can get the vegetable pizza and, you know, the wings, you know. Cause we don't need to eat that. I mean, Melba, it was so funny, but I'm telling you, this whole teaching, this whole lesson is going to change how you view people. Oh my God. So, I mean, they were fighting to get their food options in. And I'm like, good Lord, you gotta have the pepperoni pizza and the chicken. Oh God. So I just thought that was a funny story to tell. But so yes, I want us to start. Oh, and then I was watching these videos last night about eating. You know, Netflix has a lot of videos about diets and the American they call it SAD, the standard American diet. And so I was watching one of these videos where they were looking for the places where centurions live, that people that live that's over 100 years old, and he was looking into their lifestyles and how they lived. And so I mean, those people were in their 90s and they were moving around like they didn't have any dementia. They didn't have any high blood pressure. They didn't have any diabetes. I mean, and they didn't do what we do, go to a gym. No, their everyday life, like some of them lived in areas where there were steep hills. So they will walk up the hills, they will walk everywhere they went. Other people, they were still gardening. So just doing the everyday duties or responsibilities of a garden was causing them to exercise. I mean, they had mobility, they had strength. One lady had muscles because of the food they ate, that they would have to knead the dough. And so the dough will build up their muscles. The proof of what you're saying, we are what we eat. I mean, you can look at people and tell, you are what you eat. But yeah, they called it the blue zones, and he would find, you know, centurions, and they all lived in what they considered the blue zone. And so it was just their daily way of living, that they weren't watching television, you know, they were still working. Their diet consisted of like beans, and then one of them, they ate beans, corn, and squash, right? And that gave them the complete amino acids. You know, there's 9 amino acids, which means they didn't need meat to get their protein. I mean, I'm taking this thing serious, you guys. I don't know about y'all, but they are living 100 plus years, and they having no physical ailments. And America sit here and try to make us believe that, you know, you gotta age, you know, you gotta grow old, and you know you can't be limber and flexible, or you're gonna have diseases that's related to your age. That is nonsense. Those people were still quick. They were working, they were moving. I mean, they were playing pickleball. I mean, it was amazing. All of the things that America tried to make us believe is normal that comes with aging, it's all a lie. And I'm telling you guys, you're going to have to hold on. Let me pull up my scripture. I don't know if this one. No, not that one. Uh oh, I didn't write the scripture down. I think it's Romans. Oh yeah, it is. Romans 12:1 and 2. I appeal to you, therefore, brothers, by the mercies of God, to present your bodies as a living sacrifice, holy and acceptable to God, which is your spiritual worship. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. So I'm telling you, man, this world system, it is filled with lies, right? They want us to buy into. I mean, he was going on to the Susan, what is it? The Susan G. Komen. I mean, I really don't know. You know, it's the cancer web page, and their sponsors were Dannon yogurt, like dairy farms and stuff like that. But all of these things are carcinogens, cancer causing foods, but they're their sponsors. They're paying them money. I mean, they went on to the Diabetic Association page, and then they looked up their sponsor, and on their page they're trying to get you to eat food that causes you to have these ailments that they saying that they're fighting against. I mean, you just don't know what is true, because America, the money is gonna get you every time. I mean, so they got recipes up there, you know, that have all of these meats, and they tell you to eat sandwiches, turkey sandwiches, but all of that is processed meat that is considered to be cancer causing foods. And they're promoting that on their page. Why? Because the sponsors are paying them money to, but yet they're an organization that is against or is supposed to promote, you know, a cure for diabetes or high blood pressure. I mean, we're going to stick with the word. We're going to keep it simple. We're going to keep it plain, and we're going to keep it simple. We're going to eat what we are. We are what? I don't know what percentage of water we are, but we're going to drink water and not soda. You know, God said to eat what you are. If we're living, we're going to eat living food. We're not going to eat processed food. You know, we are not going to sit there and eat the stuff that we can't even pronounce. When you look on the back of these recipes, I mean, of these ingredients, it should only have one ingredient on it: green squash. That's all it says. We don't need to do, oh, like this one. This one has carbonated water, high fructose corn syrup, and less than 2% of ginger extract, natural and artificial flavors. I mean, come on. What is it? That red 40 blue one? We don't even know what that is. We don't even know what that is. Why are we consuming that? Why are we eating that? Why are we consuming baddies, bad girls club? Why are we consuming the housewives that fight and gossip? No, we're going to pay attention to how different foods make you feel. I know for me, I can't eat sugar before I go to bed, because it forms mucus in my throat, and it sits right there. Like, I mean, even it was something that I was eating. Um and one of the young ladies told me that it's a hybrid food, and so my body was rejecting it. You know, so we got to pay attention to how different foods make us feel, but not just in that moment, but wait until the next day, 24 hours. Let's pay attention to our bodies. Let's have knowledge. And then we're going to try eating a clean diet for 2 to 3 weeks, cutting out all processed foods and sugar. Come on. And then guess what? You can slowly introduce that food back, and then you can see the difference in how it make us feel. But I want us to be like Daniel. He asked that Ashpenaiah, let me try to eat God's way. Let me eat my vegetables and water for 10 days. For 10 days. Come on, for 10 days. I know we can do it. We can change our diets for 10 days and see how clear, see how the fog is going to come out of us. Let's see how, clever we get, how much energy we have. We can do it, you guys. I mean, we know too much to go back. They say the more you know, the more you grow. Come on. You're going to do better because now we know better. We know that we are what we eat. We know that our identity is attached to our diet. We know that we can no longer be like eagles and eat food off the ground. We know that that's going to change our identity. We know that we're no longer operating at the level that God created us to operate in. I mean, if you really think about it, what percentage do you really feel like you're operating in based on what you eat? 0 to 100. I mean, we're probably not even operating at a 20% capacity based on what we're eating, based on what we're consuming, based on what we're ingesting, based on what we're taking in. One of the guys on the documentary that I was watching last night, he was diagnosed with cancer, and they gave him 6 weeks to live. He went to 3 different doctors. They said the same thing. Well, this guy came from one of those tribes where the centurions, it was a normal thing for centurions, to live. So he said, okay, I'm going to change my environment. So he went back to where he was, took his wife there. She was an American. He took her back there, and that man was still living. I mean, many, many years later. So they asked him, what happened? What was the change? He said, I just changed my environment. But he did more than just change his environment. He changed his customs. He changed his daily living. He changed everything about him. He adapted himself to the custom and culture of the place that he went back to. I can't pronounce, the name of the place that he went to, but I mean, he did a whole lifestyle change. Come on, we're going to die. Come on, you're going to surely die if you keep eating the same way. We already said that 90% of the illnesses are diet related. It's connected to our diet. It's connected to what we eat. Cancer is connected to what we eat. High blood pressure is connected to what we eat. Diabetes is connected to what we eat. Come on, junk food. Come on, I remember them days where I would go. I mean, I was just thinking about those little gas stations, Wawa, Royal Farms, what's the other one? Dash In. What are you buying out of there? There is nothing in there that you should be eating. That should be your dietary restriction. What are you going in there for? If you're not going in there to get a bottle of water, you're going to purchase some type of juice, some type of soda, some type of chip, some type of candy, some type of donut, some type of coffee. There is nothing in those stores that we should be eating, that we should get any type of nutrition, nourishment for our bodies. Nothing in there. Nothing is going to sustain us. Nothing is going to give us strength in there. Nothing is going to cause us to grow. Nothing is going to cause us to be wise in our thinking. Come on, when Daniel followed the diet, right? that he was given, he was wiser than all of them, than all of the sorcerers, than all of the people that he was in competition with. We want to see what's on the other side of this. Come on, 10 days, you guys. We can do it. We can change our diets. He told me, eat what you are. Train your tongue to eat only to live. You can't live to eat. Master your senses and witness a transformation of your mind, soul, and spirit. Command your body to line up with your mind. You control your thoughts. Don't allow your body to control your thoughts. All of these diseases that they say aren't reversible, they are. Yep, convenience is killing us. Convenience is killing us. I just tried to really go through my cabinets and my refrigerator really to kind of show y'all what's in it, but I really don't have any junk food in there. I really don't. Like this was maybe the only thing, and I have ice cream in there that I purchased for Christmas Eve for us to make ice cream sundaes. But and I don't drink that. My husband brought that. But I mean, come on. Now that we know this, what are we going to do with this information? Are we going to apply these principles to our everyday life? Are we going to be selective about what we're watching on TV? Are we going to be selective about what we're consuming? Are we going to be selective about the music that we listen to? I mean, I get in my car and I don't even listen to music. I enjoy driving in silence. Or sometimes I'll turn on YouTube and watch an interview. Like I really like interviews and things like that. Come on. Sarah, you said that's the best. Look, and don't get me wrong, I introduced this to my family because this was something that I really enjoyed. But we're going to master our senses. We're not going to start picking stuff because it looks pretty or it looks so refreshing. Don't that look good? No, we're not doing that no more. This look good. Ooh, this looks so refreshing. We're going to consume, we're going to add some lemon. We're going to drink 4 of these a day. Yes, Sarah. I love an interview. I love to hear how people think. I love to learn, new things. I mean, and we gonna watch who we hang around. Come on, because do you know? I mean, I told my husband long time ago, watching that Wendy Williams show, I said, that lady is going to get sick. I said, you cannot participate in that much gossiping, telling people business, and don't think that there's no ramification for your health. Come on, that stuff affects us. You cannot talk about people and think that you're going to live. I told my husband, I said, I promise you, hon, she's going to get sick because you cannot participate in those kind of activities. You cannot, I mean, that's why the Bible tells us don't worry, don't complain. Those things affect our health. I mean, that was part of the centurion's part of the keys to living the long life that they had. They said that they don't worry and that they said they laugh. They said, and the Bible tells us laughter is our medicine. Yeah, I mean, it's really sad, Sarah, but it's principle. I mean, we can look in the Bible and the Bible tells us all of these things. I started to put some of that stuff out, but I didn't really have time to today. Yeah, but they were saying that they laugh, like laughter. They think positive. They don't let things bother them. Like these are things that we can control. These are things that we can eat. We can eat laughter. We can eat joy. Oh, and then some of the other thing, it was community. Some of them was going to church, just being around people. They set it up where they would walk together, like in a community, because they were making friends with each other. Like they did not have any nursing homes. All of these places where there were centurions, they did not have nursing homes. They didn't have nursing homes. They had community. They will fellowship together. They had family members that would take care. Oh, and so they had asked, it was like a father, he was a centurion, and then it was his daughter, and then she had her grandson. And so the guy asked, he was like, do you think that your son will live as long as your dad? And she was like, no, because they don't want that kind of food. She said her son liked cookies and crackers, but it was so sad that all of the wisdom, all of the knowledge is going to die with her dad because the kids don't want to eat that kind of food because they're now being introduced to all of these fast foods and these convenience stores and the kid, he said, Grandpa, do you want, some of my cookies? And the grandpa said, just one. He said just one. But the little kid, he had like a whole bag of snacks. This is important to God. That's why he had me teaching on this. We are what we eat. And if you tell me what you eat, I can tell you who you are. If you tell me that there's a soul food restaurant that just opened up, I can tell who is the cook. If you tell me that there's this new pasta place, oh, they sell some authentic pizza, you get the best pasta, I'll tell you that those some Italians down there. If you tell me what you eat, I can tell you what you are. Come on. If you tell me what you eat, I could look at you and tell you what you eat. There are some people that are skinny, but they still have poor diet. But then you have some of those other people who are fit. Physically fit, stomach flat. You know that they're disciplined. You know that they're not out there partaking. Oh, Sarah, you know how our church, we were celebrating our 30th anniversary, right? 30 years of ministry. And so every third Sunday, our church will have like food trucks out there. They'll have like waffles and bacon, all of these sweet treats for us. And so I was watching one of the ladies, Belinda, BFit Belinda. She's this personal trainer. And I was watching her the whole time. I said, Belinda ain't I'm saying to myself, Belinda not going to eat that stuff. But look, I was rushing out there. I said, I'm getting me an ice cream. I wanted one of those nutty buddies, the ice cream with the nuts on top. I was saying, I'm going to get me one of those ice cream. But I said, I know Belinda not going to get an ice cream. And do you know Belinda said, I ain't eating that. Yeah, the lies will be. I'm telling you, it is so amazing. It's so fascinating. Yeah, Sarah said she had one of everything. I'm telling you. But I watched her. I watched my sister. She was trying to find, I forgot what kind, and she took a bite and she was like, that's it. And I was like, oh man, I gotta do better. We gotta do better. We are what we eat. Come on, you guys. We want to be like the eagle. I'm telling you, they said that unless the eagle is in captivity, but look at Daniel. When he was in captivity, he still did not partake of the king's table. Daniel still ate the food that he was raised on. Daniel said he was not going to eat any ritually unclean food. He was going to stick to his vegetables and his water. Daniel even went so far as to try to convince them, let me eat this. I'll prove to you that my diet works with my identity. Daniel said, you could make me a slave, but you're not going to change my identity. I know who I am. Come on, you guys. Do we know who we are? Who are we? Are we a buzzard? Are we going to keep eating fast food? Are we going to keep eating junk food? Are we going to keep sitting around wasting our time talking about people, being offended? Are we going to keep watching reality TV? Watch those people make money to slander and bash each other? Are we going to keep watching the Bad Girls Club? Watch them keep fighting? Look, I say that because I do be watching the little Bad Girl Club. That's my guilty pleasure. But no more, not in 2024. We're not going to watch that stuff. We're going to be selective in what we consume. We're going to be selective in what we ingest. We're going to be selective in what we take in. Come on, mentally, physically, spiritually, and emotionally. You think about those people that are in an emotional wreck. I bet their diets are a reflection of their emotions. Come on, y'all know who I'm talking about. Sometimes they up, sometimes they down. The people that say, I don't eat breakfast. Or the people that eat a candy bar and a soda for breakfast. The people that eat potato chips for lunch. The, Sarah, you gotta go back and watch it. I mean, that eagle, if he ate the food that the buzzards and the vultures ate, he would no longer be an eagle. He would no longer be able to have that sharp eyesight. He would no longer be able to fly at that high altitude because his food is his strength. And I told you guys last week that our food is going to be our strength. Our diet is going to be our strength. We're going to change our diet. Come on, you guys. Who's with me? I mean, how many days do we have until the new year? Today is the 27th. I mean, this teaching comes at the perfect time. 1, 2, 3, 4 more days. 4 with 5 days to January 1st. Come on. So what we going to do, y'all? We're going to start being selective in what we eat. Come on. Both physically, spiritually, mentally. What you say, Auntie? Okay, I'm waiting for my 5 meals. I have 3 boys. You say family, that was key, right? Yes, Gloria. I'm telling you, they were taking care, and it was their aunt. She didn't have any children. And so the guy was asking, is it difficult for you guys to come and help? And she said, no, actually, their aunt's energy is so pleasant that it's relaxing when they come over. It was like maybe 5 or 6 of family members that they alternate and they come over and they help the aunt because she never had children. I mean, they live together. Like even another family, they had like 3 generations living in the same household, and they take care of each other. I mean, it was so amazing. I'll post the it was on Netflix, but I'll post the name of it on my page after I get off. Let me see. It might be time for me to go, y'all. What time is it? Oh, it's 1 o'clock. I'm past my time. But y'all get what I'm saying? Pay attention. We're going to write down. We're going to have a diet diary. We're going to start writing down everything that we consume. Come on, who's in with me? We're going to write down everything that we eat. Everything that we put in our body. We're going to even write down what we watch on TV. I mean, come on. We're going to pay attention to how different foods make us feel. I know for me that if I want something sweet, I have to eat it earlier in the day. I can't eat it, late at night. And that's typically when I have those cravings late at night for something sweet. But the minute I go to sleep, it produces mucus and it gets stuck in my throat. So I know I can't eat that. I know I have to drink my 4 bottles of water. I'm telling you, I could tell the difference in when I use the restroom. I mean, just pay attention. And then again, we're not going to just look at how it makes us feel in the moment. We're going to wait till the next day and see how it makes us feel. And then we're going to eliminate things from our diet. We're going to eat clean for maybe 2 or 3 weeks. And then when you start adding those foods back to our diets, then we'll see, oh no, this is making me sluggish. I know that when I eat clean, I feel lighter. Like I already know when I go on the scale whether I'm going to weigh less or more, because I can feel the difference in my body. I feel lighter when I eat clean. This was definitely for me. I've been praying for the strength to change my diet in 2024. Oh, thank you, Melva. Amen. We are in. Come on, you guys. We are in. Just think about that eagle. I'm telling you, that thing has been a game changer for me. I want to fly high like the eagle. So I know that there are certain foods I cannot eat anymore. I cannot eat anymore. Okay. Do you guys have any questions? I'm trying to look at my notes to see if it's anything that I forgot to mention how much. Yeah, I talked about that. No processed foods, no junk food, no sodas, candy, chips, cookies, crackers, cake. Come on, we've had that food. We've eaten that stuff already. It is not going to hurt us to eliminate that food, to give ourselves some dietary restrictions. Come on, I gave you many examples of how God restricted our diets. He told us what we can eat and what we can't eat. Come on, in the Garden of Eden, he told Adam what he can have and what he can't have. Daniel, he knew what he can eat and couldn't eat. Jesus, he said, turn those stones into bread. Jesus said, man can't live off of bread alone. Come on, we can't keep eating that food. All right, you guys, any questions? Any questions? I'm gonna make sure I post the I'll post the Netflix video just in case any of you guys want to watch. Okay, you guys, be blessed. Make sure you hit the share button. Be safe. I probably won't see you guys until after the new year, right? But I'm going to give you an update. I promise you guys, I'm going to write my diary because I'm going to do the 10 days. I'm going to go 10 days with just eating fruits and vegetables and water. I'm going to do the Daniel diet. I want to see. I need my memory back. I can't remember things. I'm like, gosh, I be forgetting things. I can't remember people's names. So I'll see you guys what, January the 3rd? It's almost 2024. That is amazing. Amazing. All right, you guys, be blessed. Have a great day. Make sure you hit the share button and you got to watch the replay. Go back. Maybe I'll post all 3 videos one after each other so we can watch them again until the new year. Be blessed. Have a good day.